Welcome to part 2 on how to join the square upon square throw. In part 1, we learned how to do the single-sided join, so you should have been able to join your first row of 10 squares together. We're going to start now on the second row of 10 squares. The top of the second row is going to use the exact same single side join method as all the rest of the squares did. There's absolutely no difference when you start the top of the second row. The one question that I do get a lot of is how to do the corner in this particular row. So in order to do the corner, what you want to do is pick this big loop right here and do your stitch in that loop. You don't want to do these little piddly loops here. Just ignore those. Go right in the center of this big loop when you're doing the corner. And you're going to put 2 squares in that corner, and I'll show you that in just a minute. So the standard corner join, single crochet, chain 2, drop your loop, go in through the big loop here, pick your working yarn back up and join it, chain 2, and single crochet back in your original stitch. That is how you're going to join the first corner in your second row. Once you're done with that, you're going to complete the rest of your 3 sides here by following the pattern. Okay, you should now have completed the first square in your second row, and you have it attached on one side. Now I'm going to show you how to attach the next square and go along this 90-degree angle. So you want to work your square rows 1 through 4 just like normal. This is something that you guys should know how to do by now. And we're going to start this out the exact same method that we used last time with the single-sided join. We're going to start out creating a bump, chain 2, skip 2, create our next bump. Okay, and now we can start on our corner join. So the corner join is no different than the ones we've been using. Single crochet, chain 2, drop your work. And we're going to work in this corner first. So we're going to pick up this corner, put our loop back on, pull through, chain 2, and single crochet back in the original stitch. Now we're going to complete the rest of this row in the exact same way that we did all of the other joins on the single join. So we're going to do a chain 2 join here, single crochet, chain 1, drop it, pick up your bump, put it back on, chain another one, and single crochet back in your original loop. This should all be familiar to you guys. Chain 2, skip 2, create our next chain 2 join, first chain, drop it, bump, second chain, and back in your original stitch. Now we're going to do our center join. Chain your first one, pick up your 2 chain space here, chain your second one, and single crochet in the next chain 2 space. Come on now. And our next chain 2 join, chain number 1 here, pick up our bump, Put it back on. Chain number 2. Chain 2, skip 2. We're going to do our final chain 2 join on this side. First chain in your bump. Second chain. And now we're going to do our next corner join, and this is the part that most people have questions on. Where do you join this sucker? Well, again, just like with your first one, we're going to join it in the exact same loop right here. We're going to come up underneath this big loop. We don't want to use these little piddly loops. Those you can just ignore. So, single crochet, chain your first 2, drop that, come up under your hole here, chain your next 2, and back in your original stitch. Okay, so we now have one side complete. One side of our 90-degree join is complete. Now we just have to join this side. So we're just going to flip our work here. And what we're going to do is continue along this side using the exact same method that we used before. So we already have our corner join here because we just did it on the first row. We don't have to do another one. So we're going to move on to our chain 2 join in our very next bump here. Second chain, chain 2, skip 2, next chain 2 join, first chain in your next bump, second chain, and back in the original stitch. And now the center join. Find your 2 chain space here. And remember the center join, we don't go back in the original space, we go in the next space. Okay, we do another chain 2 join. Find our bump there. Second chain, back in the stitch. Chain 2, skip 2, and our final chain 2 join on this side. Pick up our bump. And then our final corner on this side. With the corners, we chain 2. And remember, we pick it up in the big loop here. Chain 2 more. And back in our original stitch. So now we have both sides at our 90-degree angle have been joined. It makes a cute little fleur-de-lis almost here in the middle. And these 2, pink and green, are both in the same hole here. So I think that hopefully answers most of the questions on how to do the 90-degree turn. To finish off, you would just complete this square with the rest of round 5, creating your bumps and your chain 2 spaces along the way.